I want to give a real quick introduction to myself. My name's Tanner Jones, as I mentioned. I've been doing web marketing for nearly a decade, and I've spoken throughout the world as well as throughout the country in terms of helping law firms grow their web presence and attract cases, all with the focus on just providing good, helpful information that you can take back and implement in your own office. And I'm hopeful that the information that we're going to cover today is beneficial in those terms as well. So with all that said, let's hop right in. I want to reiterate that if you have any questions as we go through this, if you're having any kind of technical difficulties, please absolutely shoot some questions here in the live webinar, and we will be able to address those either during the discussion or towards the end once we've wrapped up. Again, online reviews. The biggest, most powerful piece to online reviews is the social proof that it provides. Social proof is basically when someone comes across an online review of your firm, it gives them confidence in being able to pick up the phone and call your office. Now, it's said that over 90% of people who come across an online review will trust it just as much as they do a personal recommendation of a family member or a friend. And so you absolutely want to you want to be able to ensure that you're getting those reviews on a consistent basis, and believing the fact that even strangers will read those reviews and trust them as much as they do a cousin or a brother or sister. The next piece that you want to consider is the power of local ranking, local results when it comes to getting online reviews. Local rankings are extremely valuable in search today because the thing is, people, when they come across these map sections, they are reviewing those, and they're not only seeing these reviews, but Google factors that into the algorithm. And so that's a piece that's often misunderstood when it comes to reviews, is that it's not just a matter of click-through rate, which we'll discuss. It's a matter of actually Google seeing these reviews and seeing that you're well established in the market area, you're well entrenched, you're providing good experiences to users, and they're basing that, taking that into consideration as part of how they rank local businesses in the market. When it comes to click-through rate in particular, that basically means that it's a visitor who sees your search result in the map section, as you can see from this screenshot, and they are encouraged to click into your website from that local map visibility. And so simply stated, let's say you get 100 visitors that search in this case, Milwaukee car accident lawyer. They see these 3 local results. You want to be able to maximize the number of those, or the percentage of those 100 visitors into clicking the website. Naturally, the more clicks you get, the more opportunity you have of converting those into leads once they land on the site. In this case, this shows you the power of online reviews. Not only is Google taking the reviews into consideration from a ranking standpoint, the user, they are going to be reviewing those reviews and evaluating how you have provided experiences to other users in the market area. In this example, the first result having 162 reviews with a 4.7 rating, the next one with 54 reviews, and then the third result with 1 review. I want to point your attention to the orange stars showing up beside those reviews. Naturally, eyes are drawn to that color. So people are naturally drawn to those listings with having reviews, and you need a minimum of 5 reviews for those to show up. Regardless of whether this third result, when it comes to representation and the value of representation, that third result very well could be the better law firm of all 3 options. But to that user who has never experienced your firm before, likely if they're making this type of search, they don't already have a recommendation that's been provided to them. All they can base their decision off of is what Google is providing them. So this to them is the most objective way to evaluate these 3 firms, and based on that, who do you think the listing that they're going to choose? It's pretty clear. It's the one with the most results, or at least the one of the 2 with the most local reviews. And that's why that click-through rate is so powerful when it comes to getting those online reviews. I'm going to ask Christina to drop in a poll question in terms of reviews. If you could go ahead and do that, Christina. And this poll question is specific to what statement best describes your firm's results with online reviews. And I'll give you just a couple of minutes to go ahead and answer this, because what I've experienced in working with law firms is that it's fairly inconsistent. Some firms have just had the biggest struggle in terms of getting reviews to stick on Google My Business. Google has a very sophisticated filtering process where they'll filter out reviews, and I'm sure some of you have experienced that. Other firms have really built phenomenal cultures within their office and encouraging reviews, and every staff member, every attorney in the office knows the value of those reviews, and they have taken full advantage of encouraging every client that walks in and out of their door to leave an online review, whether it's Google, whether it's Yelp, whether it's Facebook, but they certainly are encouraging them. And it looks like at this point the biggest majority of the attendees today are saying on occasion their clients will leave reviews. So it looks like, you know, across the board those attendees who are here are seeing a pretty wide range of experiences in terms with getting online reviews. It's very interesting. There's a good question asked, how often should we post on Google+, which is more of a social related question. Google+ as a social entity is actually dissolving. So from a social media marketing standpoint, the effort that you would have ever put into Google+ as a social platform, my recommendation would be to apply that effort toward other social platforms that are much more popular today, Facebook being the #1, and then Twitter, Instagram, even Snapchat. As a law firm, there's some great opportunities there to really get involved in the community. Good question. Moving on to the next piece, we want to provide a great resource to you when it comes to encouraging online reviews, and especially seeing these poll results where a lot of these firms have seen a wide range of experiences from having success in getting reviews all the way to struggling with getting reviews, and never even mentioning to clients that reviews are important. This is a phenomenal resource that you can look through, disperse it throughout your staff, and allow them to utilize the tools that are included in this to help encourage more reviews for your firm over this upcoming year, 2017. There's also some nice template forms in here that you can implement during the exit interview process, which will give you a better sense of how to encourage those reviews beyond that exit interview before they walk out of your office. The next thing we want to cover is the power of design of your website. Now, when you want to consider updating a site, there are a few things that you want to think through. Design is a powerful element in terms of being able to build enough confidence in a user's mind that they say, yes, this is the firm I want to hire. It starts with the user experience, and that's exactly what UX stands for. User experience, being able to provide the best user experience possible, which ultimately means that you are guiding that visitor. Once they land on that home page, or if they land into your inner practice area page, you guide them to the right information at the right time, addressing the questions, building confidence, whether that's utilizing relevant testimonials alongside the content, including relevant case verdicts or settlements or case results alongside that content. Those are the elements that build confidence in that user while also providing good content in that experience. That's what's ultimately going to lead to more conversions to the site and naturally more case signups for you. What we are encouraging clients to consider today, and in all law firms frankly throughout the country, is to consider a mobile-first design. And the best way of explaining a mobile-first design is making sure that when a visitor gets to your site from a mobile device, that it's as clean of an experience as possible. And what I've told firms before in relation to mobile-first design is that you want to think about, consider a mobile device and a mobile phone display versus your desktop. Naturally, there's a lot less real estate to showcase the features on your home page and throughout your website design. And so what it requires you to do is really prioritize the elements on your design and showcase the most important features of the design front and center on that mobile display. And the beautiful thing with that concept is that it allows you to start to eliminate some of the tertiary areas of the design or elements of the design that may not make a big difference in terms of user experience or conversion. And so there are certainly some important elements as part of a mobile design. Tap the call feature, making sure that you have a prominently displayed telephone number that allows the visitor to tap it and call it, whether it's a nice big button like what you see here, or whether it's just simply the telephone number. Most users know that they can tap a telephone number on mobile and it should pull up their phone application to dial you. And so that's a great first thing to check with your mobile site. Go to your site from your mobile device and see if you have the ability to tap a telephone number or tap a button like this to call. Directions are also extremely valuable, providing a great user experience. But also you see that we have dramatically cleaned up this homepage design, offering much less in terms of options to a user. If you see their desktop version, you can see that we've included a top navigation menu, a strong message, the results you need, the service you deserve. That strong message pulls that user in, encourages them to stay on the page and start working their way down the page. And so a mobile-first design, to get back to that, it allows you to really focus on what's going to lead this visitor toward converting. That's the only reason you have a website as a business, is to encourage more business, is to encourage case sign-ups as a law firm. And so that mobile-first design concept and thinking through will ultimately allow you to provide a more pleasant user experience to those users and, again, naturally lead to more client sign-ups. There's a great resource here through our Always, Sometimes, Never series, and you can go to www.consultwebs.com/resources, which is linked in the GoToWebinar dashboard there, and access the Web Design Always, Sometimes, Never resource. There's going to be a lot of good questions, lots of good information in here that you can work through and compare it to your site and determine whether 2017 is the year to refresh your design and provide a better user experience. So make this an important resolution for your firm. Make your website professional in 2017. Make it cater to those mobile users and encourage more conversions. As I mentioned earlier, design and content go hand in hand. Content certainly makes a design. I mean, frankly, people are going to the web to get information. They're going to the web because they have questions and they're looking for answers, or they're going to the web because they have a need and they need professional services. And so that is where the content on your site will come into play and help build trust and confidence. We have spoken about the importance of content for years and years. You may have heard the phrase, content is king. Content is still certainly king, but by no means are we suggesting that all content is created equal. What you want to do is ensure that the content on your site is substantive, it provides good value to the users, and is not just advertising content, not just a strong call to action whenever somebody gets there. So good substance, focusing on the user, and that's what it means when you write for the audience. I mentioned earlier that you don't want to write for the attorneys in your office. You don't want to write for other referring attorneys. Think about who your prospective clients are. What's the average reading level? We often write on around a 5th to 8th grade reading level for the majority of our client sites, because that's what's easy to consume online. And you also want to break that content into nice headers, incorporate nice graphics or visuals into that content just to break up the monotony of the words and make it a pleasant experience. The next thing we want to touch on are creative assets. Now that's a phrase coined by Consultwebs, but ultimately it means that it's something unique on your site that's of value to the public as related to your practice areas. A creative asset is still a form of content, but typically it's much more of a visually enhanced piece of content. And that can, again, it can mean a number of things. This is one good example of a creative asset, and this is for a workers' compensation firm in North Carolina, basically offering the community an asset where they can go and access and find out if they're covered by their employer for workers' compensation. It goes through a wealth of resources on that page, tons of good statistics related to workers' comp in the state, types of jobs that are more prone to accidents, work comp benefits, et cetera, and then it ends with the ability for the user to find out if their employer has workers' compensation coverage. So it's a nice tool to be able to attract engagement on the page, extremely useful for everyone in the state of North Carolina. And it's also a great way to attract backlinks, which we'll talk about a little bit further in terms of the value of search engine optimization. So this is a powerful way to leverage content more visually, but also ensure it's engaging. We have a great lawyer's guide to writing online content. If you're producing content in-house or you're directing content through your vendor or through a third-party service, this is a phenomenal resource for you. So certainly take advantage of that and ensure that you are writing for your real audience in 2017. Social media, a big topic, and really just over the last couple of years have firms really started seeing clients being acquired from social media. In the past, it was much more of a branding tool. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus in the past. There have been a number of social networks out there. Facebook by far is the king when it comes to social media for law firms. But in terms of targeting, you want to be able to take advantage of Facebook advertising right now. The costs are low in comparison to other advertising platforms, and you can be very specific on the demographics that you're targeting. And so I would encourage you, if you haven't done so already, test Facebook advertising, identify who it is that you are wanting to target for your prospective clients, and utilize Facebook's ad platform to target those users. There's a whole lot of details behind that we don't have a whole lot of time to cover today, but certainly I'd be more than happy to talk with you away from this webinar and discuss some of those options specific to your firm, your practice areas, and your ideal demographic that you want to target. Going beyond advertising on social media, engagement is a big piece. Engagement is just meaning that people are responding to posts that you're making on your Facebook page, for example, and getting involved and commenting and sharing, showing that they actually like your firm and want to engage with your firm. That, going back to the commonality of online reviews, if a visitor gets on your Facebook page and see you're engaging or other people are engaging with your firm, it shows you're popular, shows you're trusted, you're well liked, and that will only encourage more leads over time. It also encourages traffic back to your site. And then right along with that, growing a following on social media. That's another great way to showcase social proof. Being able to offer nice, for example, charitable givings with every like that you get on Facebook, that's a phenomenal way to give back to the community while also growing your social network. So there's a lot of creative ways that you can grow a following on your social platforms, build up your brand awareness in the market, but also give back to the community along the way. Just like the others, we have an always, sometimes never resource related to social media, and this will provide you with a ton of things to consider when it comes to developing the right strategy for your firm. Every firm is different, and that means every social strategy is going to be different. Some things you're going to be comfortable with that another firm would not dare to attempt on social, and vice versa. And so I want to encourage you to take advantage of the resource there, learn more about social and what's going to be right for your firm. And you can find that at consultwebs.com/resources. Search engine optimization. The biggest purpose in SEO today is to gain more visibility in search, first and foremost, and visibility ideally for highly relevant, highly targeted search terms that are applicable to your market area, and that's the geographic market area, as well as practice areas. And there are a number of ways to evaluate your technical site health of your site, a number of tools, and I would certainly be happy to provide some tools to you away from this webinar if you want to reach out. There's tons of free tools out there to evaluate your backlink profile, the traffic that you're getting to your website, and the quality of that traffic that's coming to the site. A big factor with SEO are backlinks. Backlinks are where another website links back to your site, and that's a sign of approval. And the higher the quality of websites that are pointing to you and sending their traffic to your site, the more authoritative your site appears to search engines. And so backlinks, assuming that they're trusted links coming from trusted websites, are extremely beneficial in terms of growing and improving your rankings as well as driving traffic back to your site. And then we've talked about content. Content is always going to support search engine optimization, again, because it's providing good, valuable resources to people who are needing either answers to their legal questions or specifically looking for a legal help or a law firm. And then again, mobile experience and desktop user experience on design plays a huge role in terms of SEO. There are a number of elements that go back to showing that you're providing good user experience to your clients and to the people who are visiting your website. If people are staying on your site a long time in comparison to your competitor sites, then Google naturally sees your site as being a better resource and providing a better user experience, and that will certainly help with your SEO and your visibility online. We have an always, sometimes, never resource for search engine optimization as well, and I would encourage you to really commit to taking advantage of the people going to the web today to find professional services. There's tons of opportunity of signing new clients from the web, and the beautiful thing with that is that there's no referral fee payouts on the end when you get a client from the internet. Pay-per-click management, we'll cover two more areas, one with pay-per-click, and what I would encourage you to do with pay-per-click, if you are currently investing in pay-per-click, make sure that it's being properly managed. All too often people will set up a PPC campaign and just let it run. It's just kind of a set it and forget it approach. And that is one of the quickest ways to burn a significant amount of ad dollars. Ad dollars that obviously are not, there's not an endless amount of ad dollars for any law firm, and so you want to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck in every endeavor you're making online. And PPC is certainly a quick way to lose money if not managed properly. Effective PPC management can be proper ad copy that's in the ad itself, proper descriptions, proper targeting in terms of geographic areas and keywords being targeted, but there's also a ton of creative ways to find what we would consider holes in the competitive space. So areas that are much less competitive, areas that are not directly tied to commercial intent search terms, where you can kind of go around the corner, keep a low cost per click, and attract clients still through pay-per-click advertising. Effective landing pages fall right in just as important as proper management, and effective landing page can be designed in a number of ways, but here's a great example of a highly targeted landing page specific to a practice area. When you're paying to get traffic to your website, you want to make sure that you convert it. Otherwise, you're blowing money. You're burning up ad dollars. And so making sure that your landing page is highly targeted based on the ad that someone clicks, making sure that the content is easy to read, nice bullets, nice images, big contact forms, prominently displayed telephone numbers. Ideally, you have some custom photography in there. And then also make sure that it's mobile friendly. Make sure it looks great on mobile devices. Also, including any kind of testimonials on this page will help build trust and confidence, encourage more conversions. You also want to make sure you're tracking everything. Historical data is your friend when it comes to Google AdWords. Make sure you know what's working and what's not, and that the one managing that ad campaign is making adjustments based on performance. And then lastly, remarketing. When it comes to pay-per-click advertising, remarketing is a way that when a visitor comes to your site, you can place remarketing, basically remarketing script on your site, which tracks that visitor and it follows them around with banner advertisements after they leave your site. Remarketing is an exceptional way to be able to stay in front of past visitors to your site and ensure that you're not going to lose someone, even if maybe they had the decision or had the idea in their mind they wanted to hire you. Something came up, they left your website. Remarketing is a great way to stay in front of them for the next couple of weeks. So I would encourage you to surely take advantage of that if you're not doing so in 2017. We have a really good resource on our website, consultwebs.com/PPC resources. And Christina, if you can paste that in, looks like she pasted that resource in the dashboard here. Take a look at that if you're investing in pay-per-click or considering it this year. That's going to be a great asset for you to go through as you consider pay-per-click for your firm. Lastly, let's run through analytics. Google Analytics is often overlooked. I mean, you know, if you're investing in search marketing or pay-per-click advertising or frankly anything online, you want to know how people are responding to you once they get to your website. All too often, firms that are investing in a web campaign will just allow their vendor to review the analytics and never really share the good data that's coming from analytics, and more importantly, what decisions are being made based on that data. Some of the big things that you want to look at is bounce rate. Bounce rate is when a visitor lands on your site and does not visit a deeper page on your site before they click the back button or close out. So it essentially means it's a visitor who doesn't click into a second page on your site. If your bounce rate is high, meaning that it's typically, if it's over 70%, I would start to want to dig a little bit deeper and find out why so many visitors are leaving my site upon the first entry page of the site. That's going to tell you a lot of valuable information. Also, how long are they staying on the site once they get there? How long are they staying on individual pages? What are your bread and butter practice areas? Look at those pages and find out how long visitors are staying on those important pages. That's going to tell you a ton of good, helpful information in terms of how well your site is being responded to by your prospective clients. There's another area with Google Analytics, and by the way, Analytics will provide you with a wealth of information, often overwhelming. So it's helpful to get in there with somebody who knows how to navigate through it and to provide you with a quick overview of how to make heads or tails of what that data is telling you. But specifically when it comes to how visitors are finding the site, if they're coming from your Facebook page, if they're coming from AdWords, if they're coming from the search results, you want to know that, and you want to know the percentage breakdown of that so that you can make better decisions in the future about what's working and what's not working. And then lastly, with Google Analytics, we encourage you this year, if you don't already, have goals set up on your pages. Make sure you know what are good actions that you want visitors to take once they get to the site, and set up goals to tag those actions so that you know what visitors are doing and if they're hitting key pages. For example, a thank you page, once someone fills out a contact form, could be a goal, and you know how many forms are being submitted on a monthly basis and what's working through the website. You can download 5 key insights from analytics to boost your firm's caseload from our resources page. This is another really stellar asset in terms of getting to understand Google Analytics a little better and being able to make good quality decisions in terms of next steps and improvements for your web campaign. I hope this information has been helpful. I want to be able to open it up for a few questions if anybody has any. Before we do that, I encourage you to take advantage of our blog. We update the blog regularly each month with good valuable tips, good resources, heads up on what's coming in terms of search and paid advertising, all specific to law firms. And so to subscribe, go to consultwebs.com/blog and make sure that you're getting those valuable updates for your firm. Also want to be able to offer a free analysis. You have taken time out of your schedules to attend this, and certainly hope that the information shared is helpful to you, but we also want to make it even more valuable to you. And if you want a review of your site, we are happy to do that at no cost to you. What we can guarantee are 3 actionable items of reviewing the site that you can go back and implement, either take back to your vendor or implement in-house, to where you can start attracting more business from the web. Certainly take advantage of that at consultwebs.com/analysis. Fill out that, and we'll be able to get back to you very soon with 3 actionable items that'll help you attract more cases from the web. I want to open it up to some questions here. Looks like we had a question about how many blogs should we post to our website each week? And it's a stellar question. It's one that we actually get quite often. The blogging landscape has changed pretty dramatically over the years. Just as I mentioned about content earlier, content is something that most web marketers have preached for years, to keep your site updated with new, fresh content. That Google loves content. Google loves blogs. Keep pushing out new content. But the problem is that you have a lot of outdated legacy content that's rarely been visited over the last 6+ months. And so by no means do I want to suggest that there is that you should stop blogging, but I also want to encourage you that there's no perfect number in terms of weekly blogs or monthly blogs. What it comes down to is knowing how visitors are using those blogs. If you're going to take time to produce a blog, make sure it's good and substantive. Make sure it offers tons of value to the community. And then rather than just posting it to the side and walking away, ensure you have a process or your web vendor has a process to push that blog out and get as much exposure as possible. Syndicate it through your Facebook profile. Push it out on your LinkedIn profile. Be able to look for opportunities to post blog content away from your site on other websites and get your name and your brand in front of new visitors, new communities. Those are all great ways to utilize blogs while not getting too happy on the blog train and just producing tons of blogs each week that rarely gets visited and rarely gets used. Okay, I appreciate everyone's time. Again, I hope this has been useful to you. Please do feel welcome to reach out to us if you have any questions. You can reach us at getmore@consultwebs.com. I want to thank everyone again for their attendance and look forward to having you at our next webinar.